So recently, there's been a lot of discourse in the paleo community regarding Suchomimus being invalid and being replaced by Cristadosaurus. Except that is genuinely not at all what is happening. So, I think that this entire debate has been blown way out of proportion, and it's really shown off kind of like the toxic side of the paleo community a lot. And I just want to talk about that a bit. I'm not scripted because I couldn't be bothered to script this. I already kind of know what I'm going to say. But if this video gets really rambly, that's why. So the paper that a lot of people are trying to use, the paper that people are claiming says, oh, Suchomimus is invalid. That's not what the paper was about. The paper studied Spinosauridae snouts. It did a bunch of scans on them. It looked at the teeth, it looked at the maxilla. It was a really interesting paper as a Spinosaurid fan. There's a lot of stuff to appreciate in there, and it briefly mentioned the possibility that Suchomimus and Cristadosaurus are the same thing, and since Cristadosaurus was named earlier, it would get the name if they get grouped up. So now I think the first thing that is immediately obvious to me anyway, a lot of people didn't actually read the paper. If you're seeing the reactions online, you have people saying that this came out of nowhere, what the hell, they're trying to make Suchomimus invalid. The debate if Cristadosaurus and Suchomimus were the same thing, it's been going on for decades. It was never given that much focus, so that's why most people haven't heard about it. But Cristadosaurus has almost always been a really controversial Spinosaurid because of the chance that it was Suchomimus. I've even heard about this debate mentioned in passing a few times for a few years now. I never gave it much thought because I don't think really anyone did until this last paper. But even this last paper wasn't about it. It was just something that was mentioned as a likely possibility. And now we have people acting like Suchomimus is invalid and putting a lot of hate on Cristadosaurus because it took over Suchomimus or killed Suchomimus or something stupid like that. And I don't know why people cannot see the irony in hating on the same animal that they are trying to defend just because the name might be different. It's I don't even know. As a Spinosaurid fan and just as a dinosaur fan in general, this is really annoying to see because a lot of people clearly didn't read the paper. They didn't even skim the paper. They just heard that it mentioned, Suchomimus and Cristadosaurus might be the same thing, and Cristadosaurus might get the name. They heard about that because that kind of blew up after the paper came out. And they just got pissed. They assumed the paper was a takedown on Suchomimus and never bothered to check what it was actually about. And that's a problem. These people, they've made themselves really invested in this debate that they really don't know much about. And I think that's just really kind of sad, honestly. You have people out there now saying that they hate Cristadosaurus and stuff like that, when it is the same animal as before. I know the debate, that's another thing. I don't know if I mentioned this. Like I said, I'm just rambling now. The debate hasn't come to a close. Suchomimus is not invalid yet. It's just being contested against Cristadosaurus, and there's a chance that they get grouped up. People are talking like Suchomimus is invalid. The debate is still ongoing. It's honestly just the Nanotyrannus debate being, speed ran, honestly. Now, there are some debates about, maybe Suchomimus is popular enough so it gets the name. That's happened before. That happened with T-Rex. That's why we don't call it Manus spondylus these days. But, I know Suchomimus has been in quite a bit of paleo media. I just don't think it's popular enough where name iconography could save it, quite honestly. Given how vocal these people are, I think the chances of, Suchomimus keeping the name get higher and higher every day, but honestly, there's a part of me that kind of hopes the name changes just so all of these people can shut up But at the same time, it's like... At the same time, I do like the name Suchomimus more. I've used the name Suchomimus in several of my own works very recently. I will continue to use the name Suchomimus in my own fictional works, because it is the name that I think sounds cooler, and it would keep consistency with what I've already done. That does not mean that if Cristatosaurus wins the debate, I'll suddenly hate the animal. It's like, yeah, I think at this point it's way too soon to tell. Cristatosaurus is very fragmentary. People have blown this debate way out of proportion in terms of how much stake the paper actually put into Suchomimus becoming invalid. Because people didn't read the paper. They didn't even bother to find out what the paper was about. And like, let me put it like this. If Suchomimus loses, we're left with Suchomimus, a large spinosaurid from Africa, and we're left with Cristatosaurus, another large spinosaurid from Africa that is really similar to Suchomimus. So similar, in fact, that they could be the same animal, and we just don't know for sure yet. I feel like if you're really so annoyed and just so pissed off about this name change that you suddenly hate Cristatosaurus, a dinosaur I almost guarantee you have never heard of, then just take some time to consider if you actually like Suchomimus, or if you just thought it had a cool name.